Hey there, I'm Jennifer,
And I'm Jackie.
and welcome to Slightly Unsupervised. We're best friends, business partners, and the chaos behind Bestimony, a ceremony we created to celebrate the kind of soulmates who don't come with a marriage license.
This podcast is all about that friendship energy, the deep stuff, the messy stuff, and the laugh till you snort stuff.
So whether you're driving, folding laundry, or hiding in your car for some peace and quiet,
You're in good company. Let's get slightly unsupervised. All right, today's episode, healing the inner child through friendship. Sometimes friendship isn't just fun, it's medicine. In this episode of Slightly Unsupervised, me and Jen explore how safe, loving friendships gives us a second chance to experience the trust, care, and unconditional love we missed as kids. Because when your bestie listens without judgment, celebrates your smallest wins, or holds space for your tears, it's not just friendship. It's reparenting your inner child, one honest conversation at a time, which is so true.
it is
I
so
totally
true.
agree with this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
we talk about this a lot because, and if you've listened to any of our podcasts as we've progressed, we talk about a lot about how we were not parented the way that new generations are parented. Maybe there are other generations that were parented like us, but the generations didn't really have a place to have that. They didn't have a platform to tell us about it. So we kind of are on our own in that. So we call podcasting therapy, right? Childhood therapy too. Like,
Yes. I say it all the time.
we go through a lot of things that we talk about that you don't normally talk about as just friends. Sometimes you get stuck on that. So we have dived into a lot of like subject matter that's like, wow, we didn't have any of that. We don't have that. It's therapy for us to even just talk about it. And if you can get into a place sometime and listen to our podcast and maybe have honest friendships, conversations with your friendships after your besties after that of just what we talked about, you're going to find out that it's a lot of therapy.
And a lot of stuff that you thought you knew that maybe you didn't know.
Yeah.
You're
It
learning
gives
more. I
you,
mean,
yeah.
we know a lot. We know each other very, very well. But I still think there's been more stuff coming out as we talk more on these podcasts with each other.
Right,
We've
because there's
learned.
subjects. Like, we don't just talk about what we want to talk about. We have to talk about that subject. And so we get into deeper into our psyche for each other, or how we felt then or how we feel now or whatever. And
Mhm.
it's really turning into like bestie therapy, right? That's what we say. It's like,
Yes, definitely. It's funny because you have the Gen X's that are comedians now, and they kind of play it all off in their comedian way and tell jokes about it all like it didn't
mhm,
really matter. But I think the way we deal with it, we're not comedians, so
right.
I can't get it out of my system that way. But
Right.
I feel like by doing this podcast and being more serious, we're actually getting that stuff out there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
for sure.
There's a lot of Gen X comedians that talk about our childhood, and
And I like them.
we
I love listening to them and laughing at them.
yeah,
I think they're great.
and we laugh because it's so true. What they're saying is kind of in a funny way, like, how it went, and they're turning a spin on it, and we're all, "Yeah, that's exactly how it was."
Mhm, mhm.
We were just how do you I don't even know how we raised ourselves. Like, that's the other thing that's such a wild because of the experience we had, the Gen Xers, but, like, how did we even know how to raise ourselves? Like, nobody watched over us. Like, it's such a
Yeah, we had to
weird.
figure it out.
Yeah, it's so
Yep.
weird, and Jackie's the oldest in her family, and I'm the second. I'm the middle child, kind of. I have a younger sister, but in my household, I was the youngest child, and so I'm the youngest, and she's the oldest, and that plays a dynamic in it all too. But we talk about a lot about being parentified children. That the oldest girl, it's just scientific studies, psychological studies say that the oldest girl in both the granddaughter and the daughter in the families, whatever family, your side, my side, of that is generally, she just took on a lot of the parenting role for the generation we were raised in, that they took on. I mean, just talk about your life, Jackie, because your life, my life and your life parallels, but you ran a household. You were the oldest child in that household, the oldest daughter, the oldest granddaughter. Scientifically, it's proven that you absorbed way more responsibility in your life than most people can even conceptualize. Like, you had two
Mhm.
brothers. Like, give a little backstory on your.
Believe and we're all a year apart, but believe me, by the time they got, I guess, probably at the end of junior high and high school, I'm like, "Okay, I'm letting you go now. I'm not doing this anymore. I wanna be
Right.
away from the house all the time because 'cause I'm like, I am not parenting you and mom and dad."
Right.
You know what I mean?
People don't talk about that part, but I was
No.
very acutely aware of my mother and her needs, like, acutely aware
Mhm.
to the point that if
I think
my
we were
mo
more aware of what they needed than them knowing what we needed.
That's true.
You
We
know what
were
I mean?
taught that
Mhm.
their emotions and the way they felt was way more important than how we felt. No one ever cared about how
Mhm.
we felt. Everybody we are like, I'm super my sensories are very acutely aware of people around me and the way they are emotionally feeling because I was
Mhm.
taught to worry about how my mother felt, and my mother was married, and then she was
Mhm.
divorced, and then she was married, and then she was divorced. Like, there's a lot of emotional baggage that comes with all of that that came through my childhood that, know I worried about her a lot. I was always worried about her emotional well-being, her psychological well-being, her mental health. A lot of problems with my mother's
Mhm.
mental health, dealing with all of that, all those times. And you had parents that were married, they're still married, and
Mhm.
still you learned to be the mother and the father, really, of your brothers. I saw it. I was in that house with you. Like, I was over there a lot.
Mhm.
Like, you had the bulk of that responsibility with them.
Yeah. Yep.
That
It made me grow up faster, which is a bummer.
Do you ever
You know,
remember not being their parental unit? Like, that you weren't in charge of making sure they behaved?
I would say yeah, when they got older, like I said, when they became like junior high and high school, I knew they could take care of themselves. It's like, okay, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't have
R
to be there. I shouldn't be responsible for them anymore.
Right,
And that's when I started just being gone more. You know, how we
right,
were always gone because I
right.
just didn't want to be there taking care of everything and stressing out. Like, is everything done? Like, is the house clean? Otherwise, dad's going to be in a bad mood and then they're going to get in a fight and then we got to deal with that all night. You know, it was that kind of stuff. And it was just like too much that shouldn't have been put on a young person,
Mhm.
you know?
Right, that you were
Um,
because you did do
so
that,
that's why when I
like
had my children, I said, yeah, I was just like, I want them to just be kids, have their
Mhm.
friends over, do whatever they want to do. I mean, there's friends I didn't have over because I was afraid something my parents would break out in a fight or something. You knew them.
Yeah,
You were kind of going through the same stuff I was. So it
right,
was kind of like, okay, she understands it. That's why we say we connected. There's a
right.
lot of similarities. So I wasn't embarrassed. You know what I mean?
To be
I had
Yeah,
you
they
to
got
be there for me. Yeah.
yeah, or I was
Because,
like, "I think your mom's mad, we better get the hell out of here." Like,
yeah, exactly.
shit's about
Hurry,
ready to
get out of here
blow,
before they say we can't do anything.
right? Because I was used to monitoring my mother, and I was like, "Oh, your mom's in a bad mood, we better go, like, this shit's gonna blow up in a minute," like,
Mhm.
it's true though, it's like
So funny.
yeah, we were very, like I don't know, I think the generations now are over coddled, sorry, I just do. You need a little
Mhm.
bit of toughness in your world, and you need a little bit of no safety nets, you
You
should
do.
fall, like, I know I did that with
Mhm.
my children, I mean, I
Mhm.
in fact, I
I
had
did too.
this conversation with Michelle, I think it was yeah, Michelle, one time I was like, "Look, I'm a bulldozer. If I want something done, I'll get it done. I will bulldoze to get it done, and I will make sure my children get to where they need to go, and that is the wrong method to do it. Like, I've got to learn to back off. The bulldozing is my strength, and all I'm doing is
Mhm.
teaching them to be weak because I am a bulldozer that can bulldoze and get this stuff done, and I've taught them nothing about how to stand up for themselves or do what they need to get done because I had to do it, therefore I'm good at it, but the reality
Mhm.
is that me doing it always for them because that would be how I would heal the part of me that didn't get it as a child, would be to make sure they
Mhm.
didn't have to do some of the stuff we did, was really just weakening
That's
them.
yeah. Yeah, and I was that way when they were younger. I wasn't and probably, like I said, with my brothers got to a certain age, I was like, "Okay, I don't have to do this anymore. This is
Mhm.
with my parents. They gotta deal with it," you know? "Oh, my one younger brother who was, like, 2 years younger than me, oh, we didn't come home last night." "Well, okay, do something about it. Like, why are you
Right,
telling me? It's, like, not my job. Don't put it on me. If it was me, you'd be figuring out where I'm at." You know what I mean? But it's like, come on. So,
right.
my boys, I think I did do it to a point where I'm like, "Okay, they can take care of themselves." Like, I pushed my son out at one point, my
Yeah,
oldest son.
yeah.
He was out of high school, he was working, but he was living in my roof, and he got mad at his dad, his real dad, and put a hole. I heard him, like, bang, and he threw something in his room and put a hole, and I said, "No, this we're not doing this." You're
Right.
too old to be doing something like this. If you're gonna do it at your dad's house if you're pissed at him. So, you
Right.
know what? You got a weekend. You need to go." And
Right.
he's like, "What?" I'm like, "You need to find a place to live because you don't
Right.
wanna follow my rules."
Yeah,
Yep. And
I
it was
had
funny because my ex was home, I was gone, actually, and he came home, and I was like, "Travis is moving out." He's like, "What?" Like, he had no clue. He's like, "Okay, she's gotten some backbone now with these kids." Telling him
right?
because he was like, "Okay." Yeah, because he had to fix the hole in the wall, did.
Good. He's gotta do that or pay for it. I was tough on my kids too. Like I said, I was raised boys and you raised boys too. We both raised boys, but it's like
Mhm.
you don't wanna make them I heard it a lot because I had my son young, and everybody always said, "Oh, he's gonna be a mama's boy.
Mhm.
He's gonna be a mama's boy," because, it was just me raising him, right? It wasn't his father wasn't in the picture, so it was just me. He's gonna be a mama's boy. You're gonna have a mama's boy there because he's, you're a girl and he's whatever. I may have been a little tougher on him, maybe because so many people told me that, and I was like, "No, he's not gonna be a mama's boy. I'm not gonna make my son a mama's boy. He's gonna think for himself and do for himself, and he's not gonna be this overly coddled thing that can't think for himself. Like,
Mhm.
he's gonna be tough and, and he had to learn to do it because boys have to be tougher than girls because boys pick on boys. I
Mhm.
mean, girls pick on girls emotionally. We terrorize each other.
Mhm.
Boys pick on each other physically and they beat each other up. And
Mhm.
so he had to learn he had to learn some of that too. So, but I'm like you, I kicked my son out too. I'm like, it's time. You need to leave
And,
now.
and then he came actually told me that was the best thing I could have ever done for him. It made him have to grow up. He was living at a little shacky little place of one of his friends' parents on a little house on there, but he paid his rent and stuff and had to figure it out.
Yep.
And he's like, "Mom, that was the best thing you could have done, and plus for our relationship too." I'm like, "Good,
Right.
good.
Yeah, because he
I'm glad I
was
did that."
children get very accustomed to living off of you and won't make changes. I know
Mhm.
that, we had that discussion with one of your other children that was there too and how to deal with that. And I'm like, you gotta just put a timeline on that bad boy and just say, you got this long to get this figured out, then you gotta go. Like it's the best thing for them, right? It pushed them
Mhm.
out because our as parents, we always thinking, at least our generation, because we weren't coddled, that we maybe got pushed out. We got pushed out way earlier
We
than we
left
should.
soon
Yeah,
as we were out of high school, we were
yeah,
out of there.
yeah.
'Cause
So
I was also taking care of my grandmother, remember?
mhm,
My
yep,
then all of a sudden, my grandmother moved in, she had cancer, so I was working, and actually, they trained me to take care of her, feed her to the all
you're
the
in high
medical
school
stuff to
and
do
this
with
is
her.
going on. Yeah, this is high
Yeah,
school.
and I was taking care of her. I was ready to get out. I
Mhm,
mean, I have good stories too, don't get me wrong.
yeah,
There's a lot of good stories, but
sure,
it's just that's how, like we said, that's how a lot of the parents raised us back then, and if you
right,
didn't get that, damn, you're lucky, and I
yeah.
hope you took it you're really appreciative of what you got, right?
Well, we talked about that. I know one person that had that, sort of fairy tale from
Fairy
childhood.
tale.
I don't have a lot of people to give you reference that had that. Like I've got
Mhm,
one, and you know who I'm talking about.
mhm,
That's the only person
mhm.
I know that was like that.
Yeah.
And that was even a little weird situation. It wasn't all nucleus. The family was a nuclear family. They were split up a little bit,
Mhm,
but you know what I'm talking about? She at least got
mhm.
that
Yep.
support and love. Not
Mhm.
us. Not us. We did not get
Yeah,
that.
because
So
you could go to her mom and talk to her mom, and we couldn't go to our own moms and talk to our mom.
mm-mm.
Like, you could go to her house and talk with her mom and, the sisters, but
Yep.
we couldn't do
Yep.
that.
Yep.
No. We
I
were all just
sucked
trying to
that
get
up.
out.
I sucked that up to the most I could possibly find on that. Like, the mother would talk to me in the morning, the friend was my therapist in the afternoon, like, that family was, like, my family for
Mhm,
a long time, like, I 100%
mhm,
I'm so thankful for that because even though it wasn't my life, I got to live it a little bit by just being
mhm.
around it. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, do you have anybody in your friendship world you have different friends than me sometimes, but did you have anybody that didn't have besides the one person we're talking about, you and R two, but that did have this sort of childhood that we would consider the beaver cleaver, which leave it to beaver or whatever, mom's at home, dad's working, and she just
Yeah,
makes
I think we
cookies and
have
stuff?
well, yeah, not about that, but I think we have some other friends that their families seem like pretty good units, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
But the
like we
mom
were
would
just
stay
talking
home?
about, I don't know many moms that stayed home. No, I don't remember many moms that stayed home.
I don't either. I mean, maybe they had really good families, of course, but
Yeah,
still,
I mean,
did
there's
they if we talked to them, would they still say, "Yeah, I was kinda left to my own to figure it out." Like, I don't know if we have
yeah.
those not many people in that generation that did get raised. I think once the tone was set that that's where the children would be doing, every parent followed suit. Now they can take care of themselves. Now they can take care of themselves. And that's it
Mhm.
just snowballed. Everybody took care of everybody. Where now
Mhm.
you're mother shamed if you don't overcoddle your child to a point of
Exactly.
stifling them on 100% of
And
even
I know people that have little kids, and they're already saying, "Well, it's now normal for just the kids to live with their parents forever." No, it's not. Where did
it's
that come
not.
from? Why are you thinking that? They're little kids right now.
I know. You're already
How is that
putting
gonna
the
help them in life? And don't say that in front of them. Don't. You
yeah,
want them to go. You're supposed to push
yeah,
them out of the nest. I mean, you're gonna
yeah,
make sure they're safe, and you're gonna, you know, let them be seen and safe and loved and all that you're supposed to do, but you're also gonna be like, "No, you wanna get out there in the world. You wanna, do those go to college. You wanna do something, you
right.
know? Don't
Yeah.
you're not gonna stay in my house."
Don't already make excuses for the child so that the
Mhm.
child learns that that's the excuse and that's why I don't have to do something, right? That's the
Mhm.
excuse to you give is that it's too hard. My children, I push them both out in the world and they both are fine and have been successful in their own ways about all the things that they own
Mhm.
homes, they have their jobs, they have cars, like all the things that you would think are is an impossibility because society has now told you that it's an impossibility for you to go out in the world and make something of yourself because it's just too hard. If you allow them to think like that, then you will find that that will be the what will occur. But if you don't give them that
Mhm.
solution, if you don't give them that excuse, and I don't give my children
Mhm.
excuses, like you can do it, I did it. That is my famous line. You can do it. I did it. My son just had a baby
But then do
this
you think
week.
sometimes do you think back that now you're being like your mother?
No,
No?
I
Okay.
could
I'm just
no, I don't
wondering.
think so because
I mean, I know
I
the differences, but I'm just saying, like, when you're doing that, do you sometimes think, like, that you're maybe doing some of you learned some of the stuff that she did, and now you're using that also, but not really realizing it? It's just in a different way?
I don't think so
Does that make
because
sense?
my
Mhm.
children came home. Like, they both left the nest
Mhm.
and they came home. They were welcomed back in. They got a moment to
All
take a
mine too,
breath.
yeah.
Yeah, and,
Yes.
um, got to got to gather their breath. There were some rules. If you're gonna live here, you're gonna do these things, and then at some point, you know that they've become too dependent on the system, and then you're like, "Nope, I'm not taking care of you the rest of my life. Like, I've already done my
Mhm.
job. The job's done. Now you got to go figure it out and
Mhm.
push them." Now, would I ever let my child fail? Probably not, but I might let him get pretty
Mhm.
close to it before I jump into it because you have to build up your own ability to make mistakes and to heal from those mistakes and to move on from those mistakes without my band-aid all the time. You know? You probably would do that
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
At some point you gotta
Well,
stop wasting it.
like, I know parented different well, I know that because the kids had friends over all the time, like you said, that they come back all the time, but here's another thing, I talk to them almost every day, still, I can't the last time I called my parents and actually heard their voices, they were tired, they just did their horses,
So they're
so,
gonna talk.
"Okay, give me a call back when you get a chance." Well, let me it's gotta be months.
Right,
We
right.
text and, all that, but, it's not talking on the phone and hearing
Mhm,
each other.
mhm.
It's not, and it's really too bad, but they never were. The only one thing that I do remember, it was so positive when it comes to phone calls, was we always had to say "love you" when we hung
Right,
up. That
right,
was a big thing because my parents would be at work or something, so they would be getting off the phone, say "love you," otherwise, you didn't say "love you."
right.
But that's the one thing, like, talking and it wasn't a lot of, like yeah, I'd sit and talk to my kids, like, just
Solve
have
their
full
problem.
con I don't remember a lot of conversations except what I had to, do. I had to clean the house, do this, do that, take care of your brothers, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know, you had a full list
Totally
of
different.
things. You still do that. I both my sons recently actually got into, like, a little bit of, issues with work. One was work, one was a different situation, but both needed my attention, and, of course, I'm gonna jump in full throttle, do all the things I could possibly do to help both of them during that crises of their crises, and repeated phone calls on the computer, we're talking, we're having conversations, we're making a plan on how this is going to go, all those things. So it's not that they've been abandoned on their issues, there haven't been, but I'm
Mhm,
the backup to the first call of what to do. Like, at least have some thoughts about what you could do to solve some of your problems because Like I
Right.
said, I'm a bulldozer. I get it done, and I can throw money at something, and I can make something happen. When my son was in college, I remember that he called me one time. He's gonna fail a class or something, and I'm like, "Get a tutor. I don't pay it. Let's get the tutor." He's like, "No, no, I'm just gonna, study." I'm like, "Let's solve the problems." The problem right now is like, we gotta get through this class. Let's throw everything we can at it. Let's get it done because you can't fail this class because it holds you up for all the other classes you need behind it. It's in college, it's a little different. But he's like, "No, I think I can get it done. I'm just gonna, he comes to his own solution on it. But if I had told my mother that I was failing a class in college, the first thing my mother would say to me, "I'm not kidding you about this. Are you going to school?" I didn't know. Like, I'm sure that would be the question. Like, "Are you in
As you
school?"
know, I'm laughing with you, not because I can so see that. I can see it and
Yeah,
hear it. I can
yeah.
hear it too.
"Oh, I didn't know. That's a shame. I hope you get that solved." Like, that would be the solution for me. Like, I hope you figured that out. My solution is to figure out the solution. Like, let me help my children figure this out. Let's get what needs to get done so we can go on to the next thing. But
Mhm.
that's the real difference between it, and having these friendships that people that are in your life that understand that, and I know. There's kind of a thing you all like to tease me about with my mom and stuff, and it's like, that comes from childhood, that comes from and I've said that lately. I'm gonna tell you this, I've said that lately too, because my mom doesn't listen to this, so I'm not gonna be too worried about it, but the thing that you guys always tease me about with my mom, which I'm not gonna say specifically, but you know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about.
Right.
Something my
Yep.
mom always did. Helps
We
me.
all
Yeah,
that's
but it
what
helps me
yeah.
because I look
Mhm.
at my life now and I'm starting to get to that point where it's like taking account of all the things that happened to me, all the trauma that happened to me. I know I had a baby when I was young. That's my trauma I created
Mhm.
myself. Those things are my problems I've done. There's a lot of trauma before that that I don't even talk about because I was never taught to talk about my problems. You were probably the
Mhm.
same way.
Mhm.
We never say what's wrong with us because we were taught that it didn't matter what was wrong with us. It wasn't actually a problem. It was their problem was bigger than our
Mhm. It
problem.
was dismissed. They
Uh-huh.
always dismissed us. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Or whatever
And
our
that
problem was.
we don't have, you know and sometimes I look back at my child and goes, "That wasn't normal, was it?" You guys are like,
Mm-mm.
"No, my parents didn't do that." And I'm
Mhm.
like to actually have a permission, a place in my life to go, "It wasn't. I had some jacked up shit there, and
Mhm.
I don't remember it." If you don't have somebody that can go back and be like, "Yeah, that happened. I remember that." Like, it's so important for you to have these friendships and it's not just, one of you, there's
Mhm.
everybody has the same story
All of
about,
us.
yeah,
Mhm.
that it's such a nice thing to now as adults go back and be like, "It was fucked up, wasn't it? Was I fucked up? Something happen to me?" Like, it gives you a little bit of, like, a place to feel vulnerable because we didn't get it and nobody else you could say it now, I can say it to my children, so like, "Well, it is what it is, mom." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, again, abandon myself to not feel bad that I had that childhood or that those things happened to me or
Mhm.
whatever. But to be to my
Right.
friends, I'm like, "Do you guys remember that?" They're like, "Yeah." That's right. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what went on,
Mhm.
like and to allow me
Mhm.
the permission to maybe feel at least slighted a little bit that I didn't get what I would consider a really solid, supportive childhood, that it's okay that I feel that it wasn't that way because it wasn't, right? You guys
Mhm. Right.
remember the same thing I
I'm just
remember.
glad and that's why we all had each other, you know? That's what helped us. I'm positive.
Yeah.
And I
So,
mean, it's probably what gave us made us, like, try harder too. We wanted more, I think, and, change us as parents probably for
we
the
had to do
better.
more. We didn't have a
Definitely.
choice. Okay, who's more likely to cry first during a deep talk? Probably you.
Yeah, it would be me.
I'll cry. I
What's
cry
the mo
too, though.
Yeah, you do.
It's
You
not that
did.
I'm not
Yeah.
void of it, but I think
We both cried today.
we did cry today.
Yeah, we
So,
both did. Okay.
all right, go
What's
ahead.
the most inner child thing your bestie still does? Inner child thing.
Abandon
What do you
yourself
still
for
do?
other people. That's how I
Yeah,
think.
I would say that's both of us.
We put
We
ourselves
put
second on
everybody else
everything.
Yep. I was just gonna say jinx. Okay.
Sometimes I'll be like, "Don't do that. Now don't do that. We're doing it again." But I think we do it anyway. So, all right, who's the better comforter when things are falling apart?
You.
Probably me,
I
just
think I
because
do okay, but you were yeah.
100%. It's just that I do it more
Mhm.
for you than you do it for me because sometimes,
Right.
I've abandoned myself so long that I don't even feel bad when I should feel bad because it's like, it doesn't matter what's wrong with me because all that matters is
Mhm.
everybody else is okay. So we both do it. So, anyways, go ahead.
Who starts the giggles that turn into full tears? Both of
Probably
us.
both of us. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Like bring up a
Yeah.
story or laugh about something to make the other person
Mhm.
like feel better and to poke fun of it,
Mhm.
right? We do poke fun of everything. So it's good. It
We
should
do.
be. And we make light of our situation a lot. So, all right, what childhood snack still feels like comfort food?
Fritos and bean dip. I liked Fritos and bean dip. Isn't that weird?
Yes, I do. I think that's right.
Remember?
Oh, or anything with the Taco Bell or consistent
Yeah.
order. That's something that's, it's some
Yeah.
comfort
But,
food, but yeah.
like, if I'm going on a vacation or something, I was like, "Oh, I gotta get Fritos and Frito-Lay bean dip in a can."
It's the worst thing ever. But you're like,
Yep.
man, it feels like
Yep.
comfort right there. I feel you.
It's weird,
I know,
what's
but
what's
it
your
is what it is. 'Cause snack that I eat a lot of junk food still. I grew up on junk food, and at 3 o'clock, I
Yeah.
will dive into a head full of sugar, and I eat it, and it feels comforting to me. It's like back
And then
to
she crashes and goes to bed by 6.
I was thinking about that because at 3 o'clock is when I like to have my sweets or whatever, and I was thinking about that, and it's like the end of school. Like, when you got off school, like, you went home and ate, something that was like
Mhm.
and that I still have that pattern in my life. I go home at 3 o'clock, or at 3 o'clock, I want to have something sweet or something to eat. Like, I think that's a
Mhm.
pattern that came from my childhood that makes me feel good that I get to have that, and then I go on the rest of the afternoon and then on to night. That's kind of what my probably thing
Mhm.
is.
Okay. Who's more likely to say, "Let's just run away for the weekend"?
Probably both of us. Like, we should
Both
go.
of us. I mean, you
Yeah.
probably would say it more, but I think both of us do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we both like to sneak away and get
Get away.
away.
You're both talking away.
Well, get away. Get away from our lives for a
Yeah.
while, which is always good. I don't think people should make people feel bad for that. That there's nothing wrong with running away with your girlfriend and spending a few days. It's a whole new regenerates your system. It makes your
Mhm.
body relax and it's good for the soul. I 100% think that people should do that. Okay. If your inner child could thank your bestie for one thing, what would it be?
Thanks for your friendship and loving me
Yeah.
for who I am and
Yeah.
being there for me,
Yeah, I would
for sure.
say my inner child would thank you for just being a loyal friend. I
Mhm.
knew that you would stick up for me no matter what because you were a lot more feisty than I was back then, and I'm a lot more feisty than you are now. But it changed, but it's the truth. Like, I didn't have to worry about if you were my friend or not. So I want to thank you for that because I think if you could have anything in that world when it was so uncertain to know that that one person would stick up for you, especially because in our childhood, I don't think our parents would have stuck up for us, right? We're just always in trouble. So we didn't get that. To have that is it's a it's a blessing. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, mine's next, right? Who's more likely to give mom energy when the other needs nurturing?
You. You have
You
the
think so?
mothering nurturing. Yeah. You grew up taking care of all these kids. You're prime for mothering. I was the little child, so I was always being mothered
That's true, huh?
or dominated over. So you have it much more than I do because of that. Okay. What's the one thing your bestie makes you feel like that your childhood didn't? Supported.
Something Yeah, that's a good one. I'll go with that one.
Yeah.
Ditto that.
Supported. Yeah, when we didn't really have that as children. So supported is a huge thing and I don't it's vitally important in your life and I hope you have a bestie
Mhm,
that makes you feel that way because it can
mhm.
change your
What's your friendship's favorite kind of play? Adventure, creativity, or chaos?
chaos in it.
Okay, we're in chaos, it seems like all the time, but I think the kind of play we should be having is adventure. Does that make sense?
Yes. Sometimes we run into
I
adventure and
do
it turns
feel
into chaos or sometimes we're in chaos and it rolls into yeah, I
we want
think
it to
it
be adventure. We're trying to move it over that way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We can't always be chaos, but we try. But yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
true. Adventure for sure.
So we're hoping you could take away from this friendship can't change our childhoods, but it can rewrite the way they live inside us. Every time we love each other better or our inner child learns, this time it's safe. I think that's a good
Absolutely.
one.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you
takeaway,
for
Lauren.
that too. Okay. If
Yes.
this episode hit you in the feels or made you laugh way too hard, we consider that a win.
Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your ride or die.
And when you're ready to make your friendship official, book your bestimony at rhinestoneweddingchapel.com.
Because the best love stories don't always come with a ring.
We stick together, ride or die to the moon, and no amount of space could ever come between us two. The reuniting's like we've never been apart, and every single time we're eye to eye and heart to heart. There's not enough words to describe what you mean to me. Through heartaches and ups and downs in this life, you've stayed right next to me. I vow to make you laugh till you cry and talk about everything under the moon. The definition of a best friend is you. Is you. And we'll keep dancing through the rain, forever connected. Same page, we're writing our story every day. We'll keep on growing, ever changing. There's not enough words to describe what you mean to me. Through heartaches and ups and downs in this life, you've stayed right next to me. I vow to make you laugh till you cry and talk about everything under the moon. The definition of a best friend is you. Is you. Love, trust, that's us. Loyalty, you and me. Love, trust.